Hello and welcome to day one of the Incandescent Joy Challenge. Let me begin by showing a very, very warm welcome. And let us begin by talking about why joy. So, the whole idea of this Incandescent Joy Challenge came up for me because of the upcoming solstice. Today is the summer solstice in the northern hemisphere. And of course, if you're in the southern hemisphere, it is the winter solstice. But the solstice obviously makes me think of the sun, especially the summer solstice, because it is the longest day of the year. And the sun has this association with me, warmth and light. And warmth and light is also how I experience joy. So there was all of this association of ideas going on. And personally, I had like a really hard 1.5 month. And looking back, I did not realize how hard it was because there was something that steadily pulled me through it. And that was the experience of joy. And I will talk about what those experiences were like a little later. But it made me realize how 5 years ago, I don't think that I had ever experienced joy before becoming a mother. And it is not just motherhood that made me joyful. So it's not just that I became a mother and started experiencing joy with relation to my child. It is how my approach to mindfulness changed. And that, in combination with motherhood, is what helped me to experience the kind of joy that I had never even imagined was possible for a human being to experience. So I had never ever had that tangible experience of joy. And I think that joy is very often misunderstood, especially today. Nowadays, people talk a lot about positive psychology and gratitude journaling and reframing things and thinking positively. And as a neurodivergent person and as a person who's had a significant amount of personal and trauma that I have experienced, I find this kind of concept of reframing outside in. It's like putting on clothes that are uncomfortable and don't quite fit. Whereas when I had this combination of motherhood and mindfulness that came up in the last 5 years, I realized that I was cultivating the conditions in which it was possible for joy or for me to experience joy in my everyday life. Like I'm cultivating a garden, and joy is a butterfly that comes and alights in it. Okay. And this was just ordinary joy, spontaneous moments of joy, joy when you're not really looking for it or seeking it out, but it's there, it's all around you. You don't have to reframe the way life is going, but you are experiencing those moments as joyous. This is what that challenge is about. And the reason why it is important is in that first word of the challenge, incandescent. When we have joy versus happiness or contentment or bliss, which are a whole set of positive experiences, gratitude, joy for me is something different from all of these. Okay. It has a different flavor. Every one of us will have a different signature of joy in our body, a different embodied experience of joy. But as a collective, as human beings, joy is this thing that is gritty and raw and real. Okay. When I talk about incandescent joy, I'm talking about the kind of joy that lights you up from inside. The kind of joy where if you're paying attention, you can feel your face light up. And it is the kind of joy that, what are the things that bring you joy? So it shows you what's important because those are the things that make you feel joyful. But it also lights you up and it lights up your life. It shows you what lies ahead and it kind of fuels you, just like a bulb or just like the sun fuels all of life on earth. A steady source of joy like that in our lives, you know, it can fuel us to do the things that we are meant to do, to do the things that we are passionate about, whether it is parenting or it is our life's purpose or whether it is our uh, hobbies or whether it is our activism or it's a job or a business, whatever it is that you are passionate about. Where is the fuel for that? The fuel for that comes from this sort of joy, joy like the sun, that is incandescent, that gives you warmth as well as light. And so I thought that the solstice was the perfect time to talk about this topic. But of course, the theme is evergreen. We need this kind of joy, sunshine in our life all the time. And the way that I first experienced joy, I want to share that because I think it will illuminate some of the qualities of joy. So, the very first time that I experienced joy, I must have been a mother for about 15 months or so. My child was about 15 months or so. It was still during the COVID phase. So I think it was between the first and second waves of COVID. And so we were still very isolated. We were not meeting a lot of people. My husband used to go out to work. He's a surgeon. I'm a surgeon. But I gave up work. I took a sabbatical when COVID started because we had a small baby. And I just really wanted to be with her. So that was one example of following my joy. Like I really wanted to be with her. It wasn't something that was imposed on me from outside. It wasn't a societal construct that mothers should take care of their children. It wasn't any of that. It's just that I desperately wanted to be with her. Every time I went out to work pre-COVID, when I came back home, I used to just be flooded with longing to hold my child. I didn't want to miss a single milestone of hers. And nothing I'm saying here is a marker of good motherhood or a mother's love or any of that. This was just my experience as one woman, as one mother with her child. But COVID gave me this opportunity to stay at home and follow my joy. And so it was that at that phase we were still very isolated. There wasn't a lot of coming and going. We weren't having a lot of family over. It was just my husband going out to work and me with the baby alone all day. She had started walking, so she was very much in an exploratory phase around our house. And all we used to do is sit and read books all day long because I'm a massive book lover, and that's the only way I knew to keep a small baby entertained. I'm not one for setting up structured activities, and it's not something that I'm good at. It's not one of my strengths. And so we would sit and read all day long and we would sing songs, we would listen to music. She would nap quite a bit even at that stage, or at least she had one long nap in the afternoon. So and I remember this afternoon so clearly. Okay, I remember it so clearly. I remember in the house in which we lived in then, there was this our living room and it had a balcony. And so I remember this golden afternoon sunlight and this purple sofa. And I was facing that purple sofa. I was standing there and just suddenly my heart felt so full. Like it was almost painful. I had like this prickling in my nose. I almost had tears in my eyes. And the most amazing thing is, I have no idea what happened to put me in that stage, but I do remember that stage very distinctly, that experience, because I remember thinking to myself, "Oh, so this is what joy feels like." And I had never had that realization before. And looking back at my life, I'd never had this kind of experience of heartfulness and being moved to tears. I've experienced awe and wonder. I've experienced contentment and ecstasy, happiness, triumph, celebrations, all of that. But joy, that was the first time when I went, this is what joy feels like. And it was extremely moving for me, and it still is moving for me, even to recount right now. Because if you ask me what happened to cause that moment, I have no idea. It could have been something my child said, it could have been something she did, it could have been something I read in the many parenting books that I was reading at that point of time. It could just have been the way the sun, looked that afternoon. I have no idea. And this is especially why that moment is so important to me, because it was so ordinary, it was so mundane that I forgot what it was all about. But what I did not forget was that experience of joy, what it felt like inside my body. And so we're going to talk more tomorrow about what joy feels like inside our body. Tomorrow's topic is noticing within. Today's topic, which I haven't mentioned till now, is noticing without. And the reason why I have called it this has to do with that combination of mindfulness and motherhood. So, just like very often joy is misunderstood for happiness or contentment or bliss or, awe or wonder, mindfulness is often misunderstood as well, right? People think of it as being calm or blissed out or content or zen or meditating all the time or being really passive or laid back. Like there are a lot of misconceptions about mindfulness. Whereas actually, mindfulness, much like joy, is very, very gritty. It's very real. It's very rooted in like everyday, ordinary life. And mindfulness is not, even though the name is mindfulness, it's not about the head. It's not about emptying your mind of thoughts. It's about being present with whatever is coming up in our life, whatever is coming up in our experience inside as well as outside. And that again echoes the noticing without of today and the noticing within of tomorrow, which will, I promise you, make more sense as we continue with this challenge. So, mindfulness is also about noticing. And so, naturally, if we are going to notice joy, I'm going to be talking about mindfulness as the tool that can help us to notice. But you know what the best tool for mindfulness is in the first place? It's not an app on your phone, and it's not like this particular music. The best tool that we have is one that we all have, and it's free, and it is our body. Okay, so we experience the present moment through our body. Our body can help us to become aware of the present moment, especially through the gift of our five senses: sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell. All right. And so this body is a wonderful ally in helping us to become present no matter what. I've spoken before and I've spoken at length about this practice in mindfulness called the 5 4 3 2 1, and how helpful it is when we are anxious, when you have intrusive thoughts, when you have a panic attack, when you are ruminating, when you are emotionally overwhelmed, when you're feeling scattered and unfocused, because it can help you become present immediately. It can bring you into the here and now, because you are going to look around your space and five things that you see, four things that you can uh, hear, three things that you can touch, two things that you can smell, and one thing that you can taste. And so those senses will really, doing that whole process, will really bring you back into the present, pull you away from those worries of the future or ruminations of the past. But this practice, it's a brilliant foundation to using our senses to become present, even if hard things are not happening, right? Even if hard things are not happening, you're going about your ordinary day and there's bird song. See? So your sense of hearing has brought you joy. And that is exactly what noticing is about, the practice of noticing. So I mentioned bird song. Nature is another great ally in our practice of mindfulness. So if you find it hard to practice mindfulness in like your room locked up with your meditation app and your uh, supposedly blissful music happening, take yourself out of your room and go out into whatever little spot of nature you have. And this can be your balcony surrounded by trees and your potted plants. It can be the park, even if that is noisy and crowded with children playing and people taking walks and, uh, you know, lots of people around you. It can be, of course, it can be some beautiful serene hillside and all if you have access to that. It can be as small as a single kind of potted succulent on your table. So nature will always help you to come back into the present moment. So nature and your body, the five senses, they are a really potent combination. So that is one of the things that I wanted to give you when we talk about noticing. All right, we spoke about joy. And so I want to tell you, when I had this really hard 1.5 month, I didn't even realize there was a hard month until the whole month was over. And I look back and I was like, wow, did this happen? And did this happen? And did this happen? And how did I not realize how hard it was? And I did not realize how hard it was is because joy has become a second habit. Noticing things that give me joy has become a second habit. And this isn't to praise myself in any way. It is more to kind of offer you, friend to friend, this secret or a gift that noticing joy can make the hard things easier or more bearable, because it provides, like I said, that fuel to keep on. And some of the things that gave me joy in that month were, I've posted some of them on my social, so you would be able to see. For a week or so, I watched a crow building a nest on my parents' windowsill. And then, of course, the female crow laid eggs. And I realized for the first time that crows lay beautiful blue speckled eggs. I had never seen this before. I have a really bad photograph of it, but I took a photograph nevertheless because I wanted to keep that memory with me. And there was this other time when I was sitting in front of the window and I noticed that there's a branch entwining itself in the grill of my parents' bedroom window. There was this time when we had the lights on because it was raining outside, and there was this reflection of our bulb, like our lamp, on the window. And it was like nestled among the frondy branches of, we have this gulmohar tree, so the frondy branches of the gulmohar tree, and it looked like a piece of lace. And then, of course, there's the gulmohar tree itself, which has been blooming because this is the season for mayflowers. It has these gorgeous orange red flowers. Then there was the fact that my daughter was home on summer vacation and she has been creating so much really beautiful art. And she would keep coming up and showing me what she's making. And so that 5-year-old, 6-year-old voice of a child chirping, it's a huge source of joy for me. And seeing her art and her creativity and imagination on paper was extremely joyful. I also was part of this art summit, which I was participating in. And so every day at night after my daughter went off to sleep, I would watch like 1 half-hour video from an art teacher, and the generosity with which they taught, the techniques that they taught, they were an immense source of joy. And then whenever I got time through my day, I would do some art, not every day, but like every few days. And that was a source of joy for me. So I just want to show you the variation of joy, things that you can notice that can give you joy. And so that brings me to this process of noticing. So I spoke about the 5 4 3 2 1 practice, and I have a number of short and long 5 4 3 2 1 guided practices on the YouTube channel. I will link at least one of them for you. I think somewhere here or here they get linked. And so you can go and listen to that to kind of prime you to using your senses. But the prompt for today is look around your space. After you do this practice, it might make more sense. So look around your space, set a timer for 3 minutes, okay? Look around your space. What catches your eye? What feels beautiful to you? What feels soothing to you? What feels attractive to you? It could be something as simple as an object, okay? Or it could be something that's a little more complex, like the way the light is coming in through your window. Okay, so once you've zeroed down on your object, you take your 3 minutes and use any of your three senses, at least three or more of your senses if you can, and completely explore that object. So let me give you an example. I love cups and pots and ceramic and all of that. So I brought the ceramic pot to kind of give you an example. Sorry, it's a cup, not a pot. But I brought it to give you an example of what I mean. So if this is the object which has caught my attention, right? What can I see? And so in mindfulness, we have this practice called as labeling. And this is, I would say, label it as this is a white cup. It has blue floral patterns on it. Um, it seems to be made of ceramic. It fits in the palm of my hand. So labeling is where you're just neutrally describing whatever it is that you see or experience. But then there's also, this is kind of embossed. So there is a texture. So I'm using my sense of touch to feel into this embossed flower print. Okay. There's a difference in texture between where it is embossed and where it is not. That is smooth. And there's a curve to the handle, which is very pleasing. Then there's the weight of the cup, right? So I've used my sense of sight, I've used my sense of touch. This is an empty cup because I precisely brought it for example point of view. But if I had a steaming mug of, I love blue pea tea. So if I were looking at that blue tea, then there would be the beautiful color and there would be the steam. It's not very fragrant. So there would be the steam, and then I could feel the warmth in my hands. So temperature, texture, the weight or heft of the cup. Um, I would sip it and I would be able to feel the tea, or, if I've sweetened it with honey or cinnamon flavored, I would be able to experience the flavors. So that would take me through the whole gamut of sensations. Now, if you have like light coming in through your window, you could, well, obviously, you would see how the light is filtering in. You would see what is like the temperature of the light, right? Is it a warm shadow, cool shadow? Is it casting shadows? Um, is it filtering in through the curtain? So is it like diffuse or is it strong? If it's filtering in through the curtain, is the curtain moving in the breeze? What is the nature of the material of the curtain, right? Is it soft? Can you go and touch it? Is it linen, or is it got like a textured pattern to it? Um, is there a plant, or what is the shadow being cast off, right? Is it of the windowsill or is it of the plant? If you go and put your hands in that warm sunlight, can you feel the warmth of the sunlight? If there's a breeze blowing, can you feel the breeze? Can you smell any scents on the breeze? Since you're near an open window, are there any sounds which are present, like bird song or children playing in the background, or dogs barking or crickets chirping? So basically turning any small object or experience for 3 minutes using at least three or more of your senses, really giving it your all and noticing everything that you possibly can about it, like literally like exploiting or sucking out the entire juice of the experience, everything that is beautiful about it. You're going to take it in. And the reason why we do this practice is that And ideally, I would like you to like listen to the 5 4 3 2 1, then do this 3 minute practice, and then kind of go through the rest of your day and see what it is that you notice. Now, every time you're not going to have the luxury of 3 minutes. We're all busy people, and say you were walking down a road and you saw a beautiful bird and it just flashed past, right? So you can only just notice that, oh, there was this really beautiful blue and green kind of bird and it flashed past me. Maybe you hear bird song, maybe you don't. Okay. But you might also then think, oh, but these are beautiful bushes that it has flown past. And this is the sunlight is pretty really beautiful right now, or the shadows are really beautiful, or those flowers are lilac, but like in the shade they look deep purple, or like whatever it is, right? More noticing leads to more noticing leads to more noticing. And the thing is, the more and more you notice, the more and more you're going to forget what you have noticed, because joy is not going to be one standout experience in your life. That is why I feel like, with the example I gave you all of my first experience of joy, it's so potent because I don't remember what provoked that joy. I've had a million such joyous experiences since then. Every single day I experience joy of this kind, right? I don't remember what caused that one particular experience. But the more and more you notice, the more and more you'll forget the exact things that gave you joy. But the more and more you will prime yourself to look for, to notice, and experience these small, subtle moments of joy. The fragrance of something cooking. Uh, I really like this, and it's going to sound a little selfish. I'm not much of a cook, but I love the sound of someone else in the kitchen, the sizzle, the smell of the condiments, the vessels against each other. Because for me, that's someone making a nourishing meal for me, for themselves, and for the people that we love in our family, right? So it generally brings me joy and a lot of gratitude as well. So I'm just saying small things like this that you can use your five senses to notice. That's the assignment for today. That's it. And so today took a little bit longer because I wanted to give background to why joy and why this challenge right now. I also want to say that I know that in many parts of the world, there are very many difficult things which are happening right now. We've had our own set of airplane tragedies recently in India and in the US and around the world. There are genocides, wars, struggles happening. And so suffering is always present in the world. But I want you to know that joy is not frivolous. Joy is not something that you um, is not being unempathetic towards the struggles that are happening in the world. In fact, joy, if you look at it in the way that I have shared in this lesson, it is the fuel that will help you to do something in your own small way, in your own small locality, in your family, in your arena, to make this world a better place in light of your values, guided by your purpose. But it will be the fuel that can help you to be the change that you want to see in the world. So, joy is not frivolous. Joy is not momentary. Joy is, we're meant to stumble upon joy throughout our days, throughout our lives, using it to light up ourselves, light up our lives, light up the way for other people, using it to fuel ourselves to do these things. And so I hope at the end of the 5 days, you will come to see joy in this way as I have. But for today, let us notice the things which are beautiful around us. Let us turn towards them more often. And I would love for you to share your experience in the comments if you can. If you're not comfortable sharing them in public, I have made a feedback form available on the Content Hub page where you can even share with me privately or anonymously. But the act of writing down the joyous things that you have noticed is going to cement it, it's mind body again. It's going to cement this intention of yours to look for joy. So let me know if anything from this has landed with you. And of course, if you were to subscribe to the YouTube channel, I would be very, very grateful. Likes and subscribes make a big difference in YouTube. And watch out for the link to the 5 4 3 2 1 practice video if you have time to do it. If you do not have time, you're really short of time. I have a 5 minute 5 4 3 2 1 practice as well. And so whichever practice I link here, I will link the other one in the comments. But also, if you don't have time to do the 5 4 3 2 1, at least do the prompt. And if you don't have time to do the prompt, maybe just set an mental or a reminder or an alarm on your phone every 2 hours or so to just notice something in your surroundings that is beautiful, and use as many of your senses as you can to experience that beauty for yourself. So, thank you so very much for this wonderful first day of the Incandescent Joy Challenge. I look forward to hearing from you, and I look forward to tomorrow where we will be noticing what joy feels like within.